Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bookcraft Podcast. My name is Colleen. I am your host, as always, and today we're going to do another solo episode. I wanted to talk a little bit about readers, reader events, why we love them, even if we're introverted, even if we're extroverted. It's kind of nice to get together and have an event, talk about books, and just kind of be bookish. And with that, of course, if you're thinking about books and you're like, I need a new book, well, I, of course, have the book for you. Undercurrents of Love, my first book in the Lagoon Chronicles series, is out in the world and soon to be followed by book 2, which, if I cross my fingers really tightly, April, so about 4 weeks from now, the next book should be out. It's called Under the Island Sky. So if you love slow burn, sweet island romance, workplace romance, found family, dolphins, and of course a fantastic dog, this is the book for you. So it's actually available everywhere now. Links in the bio. So yesterday I got to go to a reader event. It was just a whole bunch of bookish people from around the area, so sort of Edmonton and area surrounding the city. We actually met in a little smaller city called Leduc, or as my Irish Siri likes to say, Leduc. And it was organized by a fellow book lover that many of us have kind of been connected with in a variety of ways. I was actually connected with her through my friend who did a book exchange with her. A couple years ago, we had a couple amazing friends, our friends Kim and Jerry Lynn, and they set up this Alberta book swap. So they kind of paired people together and you set a limit for how much money you each wanted to kind of, spend that you felt comfortable with. And then you put together a little bookish gift with a book and some treats, and you sent it to the person you were paired with, or if you were in the actual same city and you had the time, you got together and opened your presents. And we did it a couple years. It was so fantastic, but it was definitely a ton of work for Kim and Jerry Lynn. So they haven't continued on with it, but I totally appreciated when we did the event that I got paired up with these amazing people that now are kind of, part of my bookish community. So the event that I went to yesterday was actually somebody that I met through a very good friend of mine, and that was who she was paired up with for the book exchange. She put together a beautiful event. Her name is Lindsay, and she gathered us at the library, the local library in Leduc, and she had so many fun things. And I was helping her set up, and we were putting out all these sort of arts and crafts items. And I was like, I don't know what any of these things are. And she's like, oh, you can make your own bookmark, you can make your own keychain, you can make your own pen, and you kind of bling it out with all these different like beads and baubles and all sorts of fun things. I mean, it's the perfect reader activity because you can kind of chat with your friend as you're making it. But if you're introverted, you kind of can just make it and smile at the person beside you. She had brought cake and gifts, a gift bag for everybody filled with all sorts of bookish delights, and this amazing door prize, which I'm just going to say, I never win anything, and I won the door prize, and it was this beautiful book-themed tote bag, and it had tea and candle, and actually 2 things of tea in it, candle, and then a blind date with a book that was beautifully wrapped with stickers and a pen and annotation stickers, and it was actually a hardcover book. It was like a thriller kind of book, so I'm going to check that out, and it was just great to actually connect. And so what I wanted to kind of talk to today about was, even though reading can be very solitary, we still kind of seek out, not all the time, but events that we can go to where you can see the other readers. It's like you're in your natural habitat, the library, and you see the reader and you talk to them a little bit about books, and it's okay. And then you can just go off on your own and be on your way. It was there was a lot of people that were there that I only knew by their Instagram handle. So it was kind of nice to be like, oh, hey, you have a real name and you're a human. So really wonderful event, really well done. And it was, again, when you're thinking about hospitality and you're thinking about doing events, for readers, for writers, for whoever it is that you're doing events for, it's nice to think of all those little things. Like, as soon as we started putting out sort of the arts and crafts things, my brain immediately was like, I need to find all of these because, of course, I host reading retreats and writing retreats. And I thought, how fun would this be? And I'm actually going to look into, because I have a couple reading retreats coming up, um, getting the kit to do the bedazzling on your books. And I thought, what a fun activity to, if you're sitting at the reading retreat and you're listening to your audiobook, you could be bedazzling a book as well. So I'm going to look into that and see sort of what I need to get. When we go to these events, whether it's a book fair, a market, or anywhere that we're supporting the writers in our life, I'm always so intrigued to see all the little touches, but also what attracts each person. Because even yesterday, as people were, making their keychains and stuff. There was a few of us. I'm not going to lie. I made one of everything. I could not help myself. But there was others that were like, oh, it's cute, but it wasn't their thing. And that's totally okay. For them, I saw them interacting and chatting a lot with each other, in smaller circles. And even though, when we come together for these events, we're looking for connection, we're also looking for another person that understands us as a reader. And so I very much appreciated the event. I also wanted to kind of talk about reading retreats and writing retreats and just all these different ways that we gather, because I think as I'm putting sort of all these events together and organizing different events, I'm looking at what is a reader going to enjoy. If you have somebody that's very introverted, they're not really comfortable around other people. And there was definitely some people there yesterday that you could tell they were happy to sit and they were happy to listen, but they didn't want to have a lot of input into the conversation. And I think as readers, we can all appreciate that. And for us, it's like, no problem. You don't have to, sit and tell your entire life story. You can just hang out and be a part of, the conversation that's happening around you. So I thought that was really nice that there's not like sort of a, why aren't you speaking? Why aren't you, adding to the conversation? I think we all get it. Again, reading can be quite solitary. But I think when I'm looking at things like the reading retreats, where you kind of have a whole bunch of people together, one of the things that I really worked hard for the last event was making sure to have the spaces for people that, and I said in the sort of I sent lots of emails out prior to the event. And I said, make sure to respect the person that's there that wants to just read and they don't want to interact and talk to other people, because somebody might be coming to your event that they want to be a part of the group, but they also want to be apart from the group. So giving them the space to have, that cozy corner that they're in, wrapped up in their blanket, listening to their audiobook, reading their tree book, looking at their ebook, and also respecting the fact that sometimes people might want to actually engage in a conversation. And last year it was interesting because we had a lot of sort of people that kind of wanted to sit and chat about books and other things. And we had other people that were definitely like, I'm here to get as many pages read as possible, and that's what I'm going to do. And then we also had people that were like, you know what I need right now? I need a nap. So I'm going to go and nap. And so I thought it was lovely to have sort of each person get a chance to experience the retreat the way that they kind of wanted to. For this year, I've got a few extra things that I'm bringing to the reading retreat that I didn't have last year that I thought would just be fun additions. And again, thinking about sort of the flow of the events, how to set things up. And I think the more events that I'm doing as a reader, as a participant, so somebody that's selling books, or as a writer, if I'm at the writing retreats, I'm always thinking about what other things can I bring in that will add value to the person that is attending. So I've already got a few ideas for our next event, which is our May reading retreat. And I'm very excited to see sort of how people experience what I'm putting forward. And part of that is because as I'm looking at each event, I'm looking at the guest list. So the May reading retreat, I've got this amazing guest list. And as each person books, I'm like, they're going to get along. They're going to be best friends. They're going to sit and chat about books. And I'm kind of looking at how do I curate these events. Now, something that I'm doing right now to kind of bring readers and writers together was putting the events on Eventbrite. So it's kind of one of those things where I can't control who sees the event. Right now, with the events I've done in the past, it's just been, here's my email list or here's my social media. So I have touch points with each of the people that are booking. I know them, they know me, or they know me through somebody, or vice versa. But I actually thought about, because I need to gain a wider audience, Eventbrite is the way to do it. So I actually just put uh, all of the events up on Eventbrite. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if we get sort of some traction off of that. The biggest, though, the most exciting thing is as we're going through this year, I am planning for 2027, and I just announced to everybody that our first international reading retreat is going to be in the Bahamas. So I am very excited about this, of course, because I lived in the Bahamas. I lived there for years. We're going to set it up because originally I was thinking we're going to do a live aboard boat. So if my friend Janice is listening, she thought I said liverboard. I don't know what a liverboard is, but I don't think I want that. So it's a live aboard boat. So you live on the boat. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. We're going to do this thing. And then my brain went, what if somebody doesn't like being on the water? I love being on the water. I'm a mermaid. I'm fine with it. But what if somebody's coming and they're like, I don't want to be stuck on a boat for 7 days out in the middle of the ocean with people that I don't know. And so I had to reframe what I would like for the event and what I thought would be cool to what other people would potentially enjoy. So we're going to switch it around for our May 2027 event in the Bahamas. We're going to be staying in these beautiful Bahamian houses. They're brightly colored. They're absolutely stunning. They're right at the beach, and they're going to be great. And then what we're going to do is each day there will be an activity. So the activity will be something from my book series, because my book series is set on a fictional island, but the fictional island is in the Bahamas. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one of these activities each day. You can come on the activity, you can participate, have fun, and then the rest of the day will be yours to read, watch the beach, or if there's something else that you would like to do, then you can go and do that. My goal is to include as many of the activities as possible. But as I was thinking about it, and I talked to my very good friend last week, and we realized that there were certain events, again, that I would think people would really like to do, but maybe they wouldn't. So we're going to put those as the add-ons and the extras. So those would be expenses that you will pay for if they are something you want to do. But when I kind of looked across all the events that we could possibly do, there was definitely some events where it was like, ooh, that's going to be a small group of people that are going to want to do that. Even with the diving, like I would love to go diving, but I can't go diving anymore because I was in a diving accident. So there's no more diving for me. So, I wouldn't even be able to go and lead and participate in that event. So when I started to think about it, it was like, ooh, yeah, maybe there's going to be other people that also wouldn't want to do that. So it's going to be really great. We're going to include as many of the perks as possible in that event. So May 2027, mark it on your calendar. And then the last sort of thing with events that I wanted to touch on was putting together the writer events. And I'm seeing so many writer events right now. It's like I feel like I started putting these events on last year, and now it's like every single person is out there going, I could put an event on. And everybody's going to have a different style to their events. Everybody's going to have a different flavor, how they organize it. I'm very hospitality forward because I've been in the hospitality industry my entire adult career. So I am thinking through the events. I'm thinking through the little extra touches that I want to add that are going to make the event special. But here is something that I've realized just recently. I personally love the almost the nuanced uh general outline, this is what we're going to be doing, and I'm there for it. I'm like, yeah, I'm booking because I know there's going to be lots of fun extras, and I want to find out when I get there. And I am realizing that a lot of people, this is not their jam. They want to know in advance, what are we doing? We go from A, we go to Z, and what is in between. So, whereas I was kind of doing event promotion as, join on a cozy reading retreat. We're going to be staying at this beautiful place. And I wasn't really giving a lot of details. Now I'm like, okay, everybody, here's what's happening. We are staying at an absolutely phenomenal place. We have shared accommodation. It fits 20 people. Every room has tiny, wonderful little touches that make it super cozy. The place has a hot tub, a sauna, a cold plunge pool, hiking trails, a fully outfitted yoga studio, and places everywhere for you to cozy up with your book. I'm bringing yoga decks so you could do a yoga practice. I'm supplying all the meals, all the snacks, all the hot bevies, all the cold bevies. And there's going to be puzzles, a lending library, and everything you want to put your book journal together. And I'm literally saying, every single thing that's happening. There's like two things that I'm keeping a secret, but pretty much everything else I'm telling. And, in writing, we always say, show, don't tell when you're writing. And I had to really rewire my brain around the fact that so many people they're looking at the reading retreat and they're like, oh, that sounds amazing, but what are we doing? And it was me trying to be not mysterious, but kind of holding some of the fun surprises back because to me, it's like, isn't it fun to get to the event and go, oh, we're doing all of this? But people do not want that. So I have switched how I am presenting events to readers and to writers. And I think by doing that, I will get a little more buy-in for the events because, like I said, there's a lot of events happening right now, but some of these events are being put on by people that I get they want to do faceless content, and I totally understand that. But if I'm going to come and spend time with you, I might want to know a little bit about who you are. And all the thriller readers out there, like, I don't want to end up in a freezer in somebody's basement. So it's interesting to kind of put myself into the shoes of the reader that wants to come to the event and realizing that what they need is different than what I am presenting. So I just want to kind of go over that today, and I apologize that the episode is late this week. So where I am staying during the week, and if you're like, isn't it Monday, Colleen? It is Monday. Hello, happy Monday. It's Monday today. I'm teaching right now, and I'm teaching out of town, and I'm staying out of town. And where I'm staying, her internet went down last week. So I was hotspotting on my phone, and I thought, you know what? There is no way you're recording a podcast episode using the hotspot on your phone and then trying to upload it and download it and edit it. I was just like, it's not happening. It's not happening. So, starting next week, we'll be back on regular schedule. So I am still trying to get an episode out as quickly as possible, and we'll be back to interviews soon, which I'm very excited about. The internet just has not been cooperating with me where I'm staying, and so that's a big no can do for recording and uploading. But yeah, I want to know from all of you. when you're looking at booking an event or you're looking at booking a trip, so you've decided you're going to go on vacation somewhere, are you the person that wants to know every single thing that's going to be happening? Or do you like a little bit of mystery left behind? Or like, how are you somewhere in between? You want to know a little bit, but you don't want to know everything. I would love to know, because the more events that I put on, the more I'm thinking about the reader, the reader experience, and the community that we're building around that reader experience. Because as each event happens, I'm seeing people that are from the event that suddenly are becoming friends with each other. And I see that they're chatting online and they're commenting on each other's posts and they're talking about the books they're reading and they're setting up their little private chats. And I love that community building aspect of it as well. I'm really also encouraging all of my sort of writing friends in the area to take advantage of booking something like a writer's retreat, where it is dedicated time away. You have nothing else to do but work on your manuscript or your editing or whatever it is, because I'm providing all the meals for you. You just have to get your food and keep working if you want. And so, yeah, I'm excited for the next set of events. I'm hosting 3 reading and writing retreats this year. Next year, I've already slated 2027 May for the Bahamas. And I'm telling people early, like, again, my inclination would be, we're going to a tropical location. I'll tell you later, wink, wink, Conus Islands. But doing something international, I've realized that, oh no, I need to let people know right now where we're going so that they can be like, I need to get my passport. I actually need to get my passport done. So that's on my April list to do my passport. And for other people too, like they've got to look at it because your passport can't be within 6 months of expiring when you're going international. And so, yeah, I'm going to be putting a lot more of the details out in advance so that people really going to know what we're doing. So I know it might seem like that's a weird thing to talk about, Colleen, but for me, it's a big mindset shift from being, sort of mysterious and holding stuff back, so that people just, get that big surprise, to actually saying, here's what we're doing. So, and it's also to a little bit of, if you said that you're doing something and then something goes wrong and then you're like, shoot, I can't do that thing. So like last year, perfect example, I had all of the washi tape and stickers and pens and beautiful paper, things to cut it with, fun scissors to cut it with. I had all these great things to work on your book journals. And I told people to bring their book journals, but I didn't tell them that I had all the stuff with me. And I think when people got there, they were kind of like, oh, shoot, I didn't bring my book journal, but you have all the stuff here. So it was more of a thing where I had said, bring your book journal, but I didn't say explicitly, by the way, I've got everything. And I even have those little printers so you can print off the book covers to put in your journal. Like I bought those specifically for the retreats and I didn't say it. And now I'm like, no, tell everybody. I had a little lending library for the mood readers that brought books they suddenly didn't want to read anymore. So this is the learning experience for me. And I'm always one to say, let's do things a little bit differently. So let me know in the comments, leave a something and let me know. Do you love to know everything or do you want to have some mystery? Are you somewhere in between? I would love to know your thoughts on this. And if you're coming to one of my retreats this year, put a little happy face in the comments, because I'm very much looking forward to connecting with all of the readers and the writers this year. So however you enjoy books, there's always a place for you here. Thanks so much, everybody. Have an amazing day.